Friday, 250 pull-ups with the 5 kilogram weight, 250 gymnastic rings, dips, body weight. Let's get to it. Whew, it's fresh today. Feels good. So I just wanted to get out there, get a nice little walk before getting into the pull-ups. It is it's fresh, windy, beautiful. So how I'm feeling from yesterday, I've got some abrasion on the forearms because I didn't wear my sleeves, and guess what I've got today? I've got those sleeves. First thing that I did when I got back in was I put those sleeves in my bag. Don't want to make that same mistake again. So I'd probably say achy wise around tops of the arms, around the delts, shoulders. That's pretty much it, to be honest with you. So I'm feeling good about that. I want to try and focus on getting the numbers up today in terms of getting the reps as close to 5 reps max in a set as I can do. That is my plan. That is the focus. But listen, the data never lies. You will see how the workout is completed at the end of this video. I'll always show you everything. And what I'm looking for is continual improvement. So, without further ado, let's get to the club. So, this is what I like to do the stretching with. So, it's a niche little bit of equipment, and I've had it for ages. It's I think the purpose of it might even be to sort of like put over the back of a bike. So, you know, if you think about a bicycle, the back part, you would sort of strap this over a package. I think that's what it is. I've got bands that I use this for, but I like to use this to stretch out. It's a beautiful little tool to carry around. So this is nice. Stretching out wise, personally speaking, the dead hangs for me really help before doing the pull-ups, but also scapular raises. Dead hangs and scapular raises, but I like to stretch out, so I use resistance bands all the time for lots of different stretch work. Some of it can be really isolated, like just focusing on one particular part, a real specific spot. So I'll take my time with that, and I can have sessions whereby it's just stretching. I'm just focusing on stretching for that session, and that is that thing. Stretching out. Yoga. I've not been doing yoga as much as I should do in terms of yoga sessions with a yoga practitioner, but I do a lot of my own stretches, which would constitute yoga movements. But listen, just to be clear, I am not super supple. I'm really not. I'm tight around. I'm definitely tight in my groin area. So, like, you know how some people can sit in yoga and fully cross the legs. I can't do that yet. That's something that I would have to train to practice on. So I'm very, very tight around there. I suppose a lot of the stuff that I do is conditional towards the movements that I'm practicing. So I do like to hit all areas of the core. But yeah, I definitely need to up my yoga class game. I just have to squeeze it into my day. So anyway, that will happen. So without further ado, let's get these pull-ups underway. Okay, let's get the first 5 off together. Get that hand placement nice and tight. Since I did the calluses, the skin, the fresh new skin is not so fresh anymore. The calluses are starting to come back, which is good. I need them. Okay. Alright, that feels nice. Feels good. No major aches and pains. Whenever I start off the pull-ups for the first time, even though I've just done my stretch work and everything, I still like to feel if there's any weak spots, if there's any pain points, because that could be an issue for me for the long term as I'm progressing through. But so far, everything's looking good. Okay, so I was asked yesterday how I found my first day of the challenge, and you know what? This is how it felt. So with the pull-ups, I felt like I was in my comfort zone. You know, if you think about it now, I went from doing 750 pull-ups the previous days, each session, with a 2.5 kilogram weight, to 250 pull-ups. So I've dropped a third of the aggregate total number. I did double the weight, so I'm now 5 kilograms, but nevertheless, it's the reps. So the reps have drastically reduced. I was asked how I felt about the rings dips, and this is what I said, and this is the truth. I said I feel like I'm very vulnerable. I feel like I'm naked. I'm out there. Obviously, I'm bringing you on the journey with me, and yesterday there was a part of me that thought, you know what? How is this going to go? This challenge, because it reminds me of starting something new that day one, and what it feels like, and it feels good because I'm doing something new. I like that movement. I enjoy the movement, but also I feel vulnerable. I don't feel as confident because with the pull-ups, of course, I feel exceptionally confident because it's a fundamental routine, a fundamental practice, a daily practice of mine, and I've done so many of them over the years that I've really connected my mind and body to it. So when it comes to that, yeah, I suppose I kind of do feel in my comfort zone, which makes sense because that is practice, patience, persistence, leaning into mastery of that particular movement. For me, gymnastic rings dips, no, I'm not in the mastery status yet. There's a lot for me to do. And I'm talking about the endurance side of it, because I still apply the same principles when I'm doing the rings dips, which is I want to focus on precision techniques. So I want to own that one rings dip, that one for me, and then I can repeat that cycle. So I like to do it nice, controlled, time under tension, nice and fluid. But yeah, that's how I felt yesterday. Naked, exposed, and vulnerable, and sharing it publicly. Like I said, I don't know how this challenge is going to go. This could be a public failure, or it could be a success for me, an achievement, but the outcome is not guaranteed, but the journey is. So let's dig into the journey. The ring steps are not going well. I'm still in the first block of the ring steps, and I'm down to 3 reps max, and it is a grind. It is a grind. So anyone that is starting out something for the very first time, whatever that physical exercise is, or in fact anything that you're starting for the very first time, if it feels difficult at first, if it feels challenging mentally and physically, mentally or physically challenging for you, then that is probably absolutely normal, unless you are a complete natural at that thing. But the key is to practice that thing, be patient with it, and be persistent, But then you want to lean into, you've got to lean into kindness to yourself, but remind yourself of why you're doing it. So right now, I've got that target to hit. It's 250 ring steps, and it's going to happen, and I'm going to get there. But I need to be consistent, but consistently good. Not consistently bad, consistently good. Meaning that I have to focus on the precision techniques for each rings dip. And the moment that I'm not performing that movement exactly how I want to perform it, then it doesn't count and I stop. That's the discipline. That's the discipline that leads to consistency, where the consistency is focusing on one rep at a time and then just repeating it on the numbers. So far, it's not going great. See how we get on. Okay, today's session is a failure. But here's why it's a failure, because the learning is in why I'm calling this a failure. Okay, so right now I'm down to 1 rep at a time on the rings dips. But I'm going at a pace that isn't, it's not great in terms of, the last rep that I just did, it didn't feel like it was a proper rep, so I'm calling it. But let me give you the details about why I'm calling this session now and ending it. Why don't I just carry on, all that sort of stuff. So let me share it with you from my perspective. Okay. So the overarching goal is to achieve 5,000 rings dips body weight in February. Okay, that is the goal. Remember that piece. How I get there is up to me. Now, how I've broken it down, you can see the project if you go to my website and you go to the Project X, and you'll be able to see February's challenge. So you can see how it's planned out on ClickUp for the days, all that sort of stuff. But you can also see at the end of the videos that I do, like at the end of this video, you'll be able to see how I've broken down today's session. And it is raw, it is unfiltered, it is ugly. But more importantly, it's got to the point whereby I'm breaking form. So even just doing 1 rep, it's not good enough for me. The rep that I'm performing is not good enough. So it doesn't count. And that's where the self-discipline kicks in, because there is no one around me right now that is holding a microscope over me and saying, right, you know, that's fine, that'll just pass by or whatever. This is on me. This is on me. So moving forward, it's not working, and I'm calling it. But let me explain to you now why I'm going to do that. I could say, right, do you know what? Take a 5-minute break, hydrate, do some breathing meditation, and come back to it, and then go again. But that won't fit in with the plan and the process. So the process is I go to perform my reps, so in this case the rings dips. I want to achieve a maximum of 5 reps in a set, but if I don't, then what is it that I'm achieving? 1 is obviously the minimum number. And if I can't achieve the 1, then I have to think, what do I do in this moment? Do I call it, or do I carry on with today's session? Now, I know that I've got Saturday, so tomorrow, and Sunday as rest and recovery days, meaning that coming back on Monday, hopefully those 2 days of rest and recovery are going to put me in a position whereby I can really dig into the Monday and achieve that target. What happens to the remaining pull-ups what happens to the remaining rings dips that I've not achieved today, that I've decided not to achieve? They're going to roll up. Okay, so all that means is if the target's 5,000 rings dips to achieve in February, all I do is minus off what I've done since the challenge started, and that's what's remaining. So I might decide as I start to progress throughout February, as I get stronger, my endurance picks up, and I become more capable of getting those high volume reps, that I think, right, okay, instead of doing 250 rings dips today, which is the focus, I'm going to do 350 rings dips. But I'm not there yet. And also, the reason why I'm not just carrying on 1 rep at a time, rest for 30 seconds, or even changing the rest period, is because I don't have the time today. So this training session is scheduled into my day. So when I say I don't have the time, I mean I've allocated time for today's training session, but I've got other things in my diary, other commitments that I have to meet, that I have to stick to. So this is how I mentally prepare for failures through risk analysis. And this is it, I'm calling it. So today is a failure. I've not achieved today's session, which is 250 ring steps. You'll see the data at the end of this video. They will roll up, but I will focus on achieving the 5,000 ring steps in February. That is still my plan. That is still my plan. And I'm calling it today. Okay, so I'm feeling absolutely incredible. I've showered off, got changed. I'm now heading in. I've got a meeting in Manchester. I'm super excited. I'm focused on that. When I did finish the challenge today, I got chatting to a few people at the club that I know, and they said to me, so how'd you get on? And when I hit them with, well listen, today was a failure, I don't think they knew exactly what to say in that moment, but I explained to them, listen, it's part of the process, it's part of the journey, and I've only just started the challenge, and I didn't know, I anticipated that something like this could happen. That's why I formulate risk analysis when I'm building out projects like this. But the truth is, I have to schedule in the challenge into my lifestyle. It has to fit into my lifestyle. And I've got commitments today. So right now, I feel like I'm up against it, I'll be honest with you. Lot of stuff to do, but you know what? It'll all happen. It'll all happen. There was a moment after I finished the challenge when I stopped recording, and I just took that moment for myself, and I sank into gratitude. And the reason why I do that is it puts me on a positive frequency. So I remind myself that I'm grateful to be in a position to be training. I'm grateful to be in a position to be training at a really nice facility like this. I start to go on that thread of things that I'm grateful for. It's not difficult to do. It's very easy to do. That link, thinking of gratitude, one thing leads you on to the next thing. Before you know it, you're grateful for so many things. And those things might seem really small and insignificant at most times, but they form part of the wider picture of what makes me me. And yeah, listen, I would be lying to you right now if I said that I was going to use the big word then, disappointed about today. Listen, I want to achieve the targets that I set myself every single day. Of course I do. I don't set myself up for failure, but today was different. I called it. I pulled myself out of the challenge of today's session because I'm in it for the long haul. I've just started the project. So I had to think strategically what makes sense. I'll tell you what makes sense. I've got Saturday and Sunday coming up, days of recovery. Okay, you can fuel up, get some good sleep in there, good nutrition. Those muscles can repair, ready, fight fit for Monday. If I would have continued today, grinding out one rings dip at a time, then I would have been late for meeting who I'm meeting today. And that can't happen. So everything has a knock-on effect. But in those moments, it's the decisions, the choices that I make, and I think through it logically. I try and apply rationale behind it to think, okay, I'm going to call it because of this reason. So I've got my happy little chops on, just moisturises up the beard, feeling excited. It is Friday, and yeah, so what are you doing? Wherever you are in the world, have an amazing day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Thank you for staying with me on this journey. I really do mean that. And yeah, I will see you soon. Take care.